Okay, sorry about the delay there. Just had some issues with my display and a whole bunch of other things. Also, it's storming outside and my window was open, so that was fun. Give me just a moment to finish setting some things up. Alright. So, unfortunately, I still have not set up OBS to only take in the audio from my my music here. So you might eventually hear some Discord noises, because I have Discord noise, or Discord noise. I have Discord running in the background. Actually, I wonder if I can... If I can, like, add a thing. Hold on a minute. I don't know if I should try to do this live. I'll probably be here all day trying to add audio sources and shit. I'll do that later. But anyway, as you can see, I have busted out the art tablet. I must admit it was a bit of a pain in the behind to get this set up in Hyperland, and even though I tested it, it did not in fact work with my third display when I went to stream. It worked before I streamed, then I used it to play a game, and then it stopped working when I needed it to work, and I never got it to work. So we're running on two displays at the moment, sadly. Not that it's a big deal. I mean, honestly, you can only see one of them anyway. As long as the art display works, then that's what's really important anyway. So, also, you know what I want to do? Since I'm on Discord, I guess. Give me a moment. I'm going to go ahead and just stream there too. Why not? I'm not going to do... We're going to do 720p. I don't want to kill my processor. There we go. So now Discord can see that a little bit more live. Okay. I think we're good. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, so the objective today. The objective today is going to be we need to learn some math. And you might be wondering, well, what kind of math are we learning? And why? Well, the question as to why is quite simple. In back-end programming, or at least with the leak code that we've been doing so far, without looking up, the objective that I have for myself is to be able to do up to 1800 level leak code questions without looking anything up. And in order to do that, I will actually also need to know some algorithms, some basic algorithms, because in a lot of leak code, they end up wanting you to use an algorithm that you probably don't know. Now, realistically, I think up to the 1500s, you can come up with these algorithms, even if they already exist, if you know enough math. In order to do that, you might need to know, I think a lot of number theory is useful. Algebra, obviously. I'm not so sure about calculus, because I honestly haven't taken calculus, but here's the funny thing. We're actually going to be starting off really, really simple. We're not going to be going... Hold on, let me turn my... I had to turn the volume down a little bit. We're not going to be going into Like, we're not going to be going into number theory or calculus immediately because I haven't actually taken a calculus class, and therefore I couldn't actually learn number theory very easily. I learned a little bit. I learned a little bit about prime numbers and such, which shed some light on some equations I've been using. But we're going to take things simple, take things slow. We're going to start with algebra. We're going to skip a little bit ahead because I think most of anybody can do like linear algebra equations. We might do a really fast recap, I guess. Hold on, I just realized I don't actually have... I have OBS open and not my stream chat, which is like so useless. Alright, there we go. And so yeah, what we're going to be doing starting off is we're just going to recap. I do apologize, I'm going to be a little inefficient here. I didn't really get to set up any hotkeys or anything for this. Matter of fact, let's just do this and be faster. And I'm honestly wondering if I should be using something else like GIMP. I feel like GIMP would be a better idea. Well, whatever. We're already here. Actually, I take it back. We are going to use GIMP. Oh, shit. Almost just lost my pin. That would have been bad. We're going to just do GIMP. Matter of fact, I think GIMP just recently had, like, a major update, which is really cool. So I guess this is a good opportunity to plunk around with that. Nope. None of that. Okay, where's my canvas? New 1080p. Template. We're gonna do 4K because I want a lot of working area here. Okay, so instead of a whiteboard, I think we're gonna go with a blackboard because holy crap. Where's my colors? Oh, there it is. Okay, we're just gonna paint over that. That took a while. That doesn't look black to me. Why does that not look black to me? It's probably because it's not black. Yes, okay. I don't know why there was purple there before, but okay. There we go. Now we're just going to take this and swap to white, and then we're going to create a new layer. I forgot how to do that actually. New layer. There we go. Sure. And there's a new layer. Okay. That was a lot more work than the other program, but whatever, it might be worth it. Who knows? Let's see. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's way more responsive. The other program was really struggling for some reason. I thought for a second it was just my laptop, but I guess not. It was the program after all. Okay, we don't need this now. Can I make this disappear? Can I make the layers go poof? No, I can't? Okay, well, that's highly unfortunate. I'd really like to be able to shelf that. That's alright. I could probably squeeze that somewhere, but whatever. That's fine. Just gonna zoom in here. Okay, let's start right here. So, I need to change the size of this brush real quick. Something like 4. Yeah, that will work. Well, it could be a little bit bigger than that. Let's try 6. No, 8. 10. 10 seems okay. Okay, so quick recap. So let's say, I'm sure everybody at this point that'd be doing programming would hopefully know basic algebra. But let's just do a really quick recap of a linear equation. So x2 plus, I don't know, let's do like plus 4 or something. I don't even know if this will... It should work. And let's just say, let's just say it's 8, okay? Now, you probably know that something times 2 plus 4 to equal 8 would probably be 2, because 2 plus 2 is 4, 4 plus 4 is 8. But, you know, we would need to know exactly how to do this in order to understand it. So, you know, basic stuff. Minus 4 here, you know, minus 4 here. And then you have your x2 equals 4 now. And you just divide by 2, and then now x will equal 2. Simple. So that's your basic algebra. I think most people know how to do that. However, is my keyboard shaking? What in the world? However, what most people I think may not know is how, or not most people, but I think what some people may not know, and what I don't have a lot of practice with, is something called, you could tell I was not prepared for this stream. What is it called, actually? Give me a moment. I meant to open up, and I meant to get a website for generating these. Hold on. Well, give me 1 second. Let me, actually, why do it there? I suppose there's no difference. Okay. Let's find ourselves a algebra generation website. Algebraic. Is it Algebraic Maker? Is that the one I was using? This one looks pretty good. Okay, so there's one step linear. That's what we call linear, I think. Let's do, let's say, here's a 2-step, whatever that means. Yeah, so combining like terms. So combining like terms might be something that some people may not know. I don't think this is so difficult that I would practice this on the stream, but we can do a quick recap of this as well. Oh, can I not paste? Okay, no big deal. We'll just, so minus 4, or negative 4x minus 4x. Where's my pen? So negative 4x minus 4x equals what exactly? 64. So, to do this, wait a minute. Don't you just subtract the 2? Oh no, wait, so this is... So, in case your teacher has never taught you this in middle school, or actually I think they teach it in K through 5, I'm not sure. But in case you never learned this, whenever you see negatives like this and you start to get confused, the easiest way to think about this, instead of minus 4, you can think of this more like negative 4x plus negative 4x. Why can you think of it this way? Because it's the same exact thing. If you subtract positive 4, it's the same thing as adding negative 4, if I'm not mistaken. Unless I'm losing my mind right now. For some reason, I do feel like I'm losing my mind. That should be right, though. There should be no reason that's incorrect that I'm aware of. So, this should be as simple as making this now negative 4x plus negative 4x, I believe, should become, if I'm not crazy anyway, I think this should become negative 8x equals 64. We'll check the answer real quick in a minute, but this should be as simple as dividing negative 8 by that, and dividing this by -8 to get x. We'll quickly bust out our calculator. I should have actually set this up to... Hold on a minute. We could just quickly... What the fuck? Why did that just happen? Is it prioritizing the... Oh, it must be. Okay. I wasn't expecting that. Why can't I drag this window? Alright, whatever. That's fine, that's fine. Okay, so 64 divided by -8. Some of you might be able to do that in your head, but it's -8. So, in theory, if I'm not losing my mind completely, x should equal -8. So, let's think here. We can just test this. Instead of looking up the actual answer, we can just test this ourselves, actually. Yeah, I really should, let's go on a side adventure real quick. We're gonna make this open up as a pop-up, because it's awfully annoying having it open up in tiled mode. So anybody here that's interested in learning a little bit about Hyperland, you're about to. So we're just going to NeoVim our way into, where am I right now? So we're already in the home directory, so I'll just go to config. Whoop. Forgive me, I'm using a different keyboard, or an external keyboard. It's a good keyboard, I'm just not used to using it. Config. Now of course it changed the damn layout again. Should be hyper. I think that, yes. And then we should be, let's see here. I think it's in custom. And then I believe it's in window rules. Ah, yes, here we are. Let's see here. So window rule float G calculator. Seems like something called G calculator is already meant to be floating. Is there a G calc? Ah, yes, there's something called calculator. What about this one? Where does this calculator come from? Is that from KDE? Hold on. I gotta figure out really quick what this actually is. Calc. No. I forget how to do this. We may have to look this up real quick. It should tell us how to actually get the name of the window. I know this is not exactly what this current bitrate is, higher than the recommended. Okay, cool. Not exactly what we were promised, but let's see here. 96%. You know, I've noticed that recently, for some reason, I did not mean to open top. What is happening there? Whoa. Bro, I don't even use Roofie. Wait, do I use Roofie? I forgot. What is happening here? Why am I using 1.5 gigabytes? What? I need to investigate that later. Okay, something else is using... No? Nothing? Really? Something was using 100% of the CPU a moment ago. Web extensions. It's definitely not web extensions. Maybe it's Discord, who knows. Alright. For floating an application from the terminal, you can use the following. Application name. That sounds cool and all, but it doesn't really tell me how to get a app name in Hyperland. That's really what I want to know, actually. Obviously, I already know how to make it float. Come on now. Get with the program. Why is 96% of my CPU being used again? What is hiding from me? Something is hiding from me. Oh, no, it's not. It's not Discord. It can't be Discord. What is going on here? Let's check it by CPU direct. No, maybe it is Discord and OBS combined. Strange. Maybe I need to stop streaming on Discord, I don't know. Alright, HyperCTL clients. That's what I want right there. Okay. Let's get out of this. Let's open calculator. I'm just going to do that real quick so it's out of the way. Clients. Kitty. GNOME calculator. Title. Calculator. That's what I want right there. Its class is GNOME calculator though. That's okay. I'm just going to Control-Shift-C that. NeoVim our way back to where we were. And then we're just going to... I thought it used to be called Calculator. Am I crazy? Maybe that's a separate thing. But wait a minute. If it's a separate thing, I want to keep that there. Oh shit, which one of these is... Hold on a minute. Let me switch to the... Wait, where is it on the German keyboard, actually? Wait. Oh, there it is. I think that's what I need to do. Shift? No. GR? What is happening? What? No, that's not it. Can I not use GR while I'm... That's not good. Oh, fuck. Okay. I might be screwed here. I might have to use American layout. I need to figure out how to fix that. Anyway, that worked. Alright, paste that. I think this is what I need. Let's try it. So we'll close this. That's not what I wanted at all. That does not appear to be floating. Maybe I need to do the class. Let me see, what was the class? So the title is calculator. Initial title calculator. The class is this. I don't think we do it based off the class, but it might be based off the class. How do I even... Is that a flat pack? I don't think it's a flat pack. I'm a little confused right now because I can't actually run it from the command prompt, which is interesting. Oh, there it is. Is that the one? That definitely appears to be the one. Okay, well, if that's the actual name of the app, then I guess I'll just Control-C that into there. Okay, now let's try it. Oh, come on, that's not supposed to happen. Maybe it is the org calculator. It shouldn't be based off a class, though. That's what I don't understand. Unless that is the class, in which case maybe I'm stupid. Maybe these are classes. That's not what I copied. That is most definitely not what I copied at all. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Alright, we're good now. Sorry for the delay. But anyway, sorry. What I was going to say was, let's go back to what we're doing. We can actually test this, as you probably already know, from your high school math teacher. You can test this just by replacing x. So let's just see. So minus, nope, that's plus. Okay. I need the German keyboard. Thank you. Minus for times. And in algebra, the easiest way to... Do I have to use Alt G again? No, that's not what I want. That's not what I want either. What's happening? This is the wrong keyboard. This is the wrong keyboard layout. That is not... Yeah, that is not what I'm typing right now. Oh, it's using the English keyboard again. What the fuck? What is happening? This is... Oh my god. This is so dumb. Alright. We'll use my laptop. What? It's not the English keyboard either. What is happening? Oh my god. Hold on a minute. Maybe I have to do this manually real quick. There we go. As you can tell, I am very much prepared and ready to stream. I will not be taking any questions about this. Why is this taking forever? Okay. Okay, hopefully that was the answer here to my problem. Can I please do the thing now? Hey, there we go. That's definitely the thing. Yes, there we go. Okay, sorry. So what I was going to say was, if you just put the x in parentheses, then it will work pretty much the same way. You don't need to do like multiplication and all that just to confuse you. So just do minus 4, and then once again parentheses. Oh wait, that's supposed to be negative 8. My bad. Negative 8. And then that should be it, I think. So if we get 64, there we go. Hey, did our math right. So I think that's what the website called a two-step equation or whatever. Yep, two-step like terms. So let's see. Let's look at a three-step. Let's see if we remember how to do these. So three-step. That's where things are in parentheses, it looks like. Okay, well, let's just see if we can do one of those. It doesn't look too hard. I vaguely remember how to do this as well. Okay. So, 2 parentheses 8x plus 2. Okay. Nope. So, 2 parentheses 8x plus 2 parentheses equals. Just double check that. Yep, equals negative 60. Negative 60. Okay. So, the objective is the same. All we want to know is what x is. And again, we're going to do this one time. I don't think I'll mess this up, but, you know, I've messed up easier things before in life, so let's see here. In theory, all you really should have to do is multiply inside of the parentheses, if I recall correctly, because literally all you're doing. So if you think of this differently, if you remember how we did the other equation, we did like negative 4, and then we replaced x with parentheses negative x. So what some people don't think about in math is that parentheses just means you do it first. It's just an order of operation. So if you think of it that way, so if you think of it just as like you got to do what's inside first, then this starts to make a little bit more sense. 8x plus 2. We cannot add 2 to 8x because they are not like terms. In other words, there's not an x next to the 2. But we can still multiply what's in here by 2. All we have to do is we multiply the 2 terms inside. This is what you learn in high school as well. It's very simple. Literally, all you're doing is multiplying 2 by what's next to it. Just like normal. Nothing unusual here. So, 8x becomes... my bad. I wish I had an eraser equipped here, but I don't. So, 8x becomes 16x. And 2 becomes 4. And I think I did this right anyway. I hope I did. Otherwise, I'm just telling people lies. And now we have this. So now what we want to do is we want to subtract 4 just like before. And in this case, we have a negative minus a negative. So it's really just like negative 60 plus negative 4 is what we can think of that as. So then we're just going to have 60x equals... There's 16x equals negative 64. Oh Lord, that's a little tough. Hold on a moment. And then, yeah, so then we just do our thing. Divide by 16. I feel like I should know this. 64 is 8 times 8, right? Yeah, 32 would be 4 times 8. 64 is 8 times 8. So if it's divided by 16, then that's the same thing as... so 16 is 8 times 2. And that means we're really dividing 64 by 4. Wouldn't that equal up to 16? I think that equals up to 16. Wait, let me think about that for a second. I think that's negative 16. Yeah. Hold on. Wait, let me make sure I'm thinking about this right. Yeah, so 64 should be 4 16s. Yeah, okay. Sorry, I'm trying to do this without a calculator, which is really unnecessary, but, you know, we're going to need the calculator anyway to check ourselves. So, we're going to pull up our calculator again. Oh, shit. I really wish it would let me move the window, but it doesn't. I don't know what's going on with that, but that's okay. So, okay, this should be really simple. 2 parentheses, 8 parentheses, negative 16, and then plus 2 parentheses. Yeah. Uh-oh. I did do something wrong. What did I do wrong? 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 8 is 16. What did I do wrong? Oh, wait a minute. I think I know. Negative 64 divided by 16. Oh, it's 4. I should have known that. I really should have known that. That should have been obvious. Listen. I didn't say we were going to learn to be a calculator today, okay? How do I... I'll just backspace. There we go. So that should be not negative 4, but actually just normal 4. 68. Oh, wait. No, hold on. Minus 4. 64. Negative 64 divided by 16 is... No, wait. I'm so stupid. I literally just did the thing. It's negative 4. There we go. There we go. Now we have our answer. So our answer was actually negative 4. So I got it wrong. In my defense, I did try to do it like in my head, which was dumb. So don't follow my example. Use a calculator. It's not that big a deal. Okay. So that's, basic algebra. What we're about to do, though, let me see. Is that the end of the kind of simple stuff, like terms A? So we could do this, but I mean, I feel like we get the gist. I feel like most of us knows how to do this. So it's literally just combining what we already know how to do. Not that big a deal. Maybe we should do some practice. I don't know. I don't think so. So, system of equations. So I don't know what this is. I don't know what a system of equations is, but I would assume that we need to solve for x and y by using these two equations. I'm actually not sure how to do this. Maybe we could quickly look into this, because this seems like it would be useful in a program as well, for sure. So let's see here. 8x plus 8y equals 64. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. I don't think we'll spend a lot of time on this either. I don't suspect it'll be too hard. 8x plus 8y. Equals 64. And then, I'll just put a little and here. 3x plus 4y equals 26. 3x plus 4y equals 26. So where do we even begin to solve for this, I wonder? Let's think about this for a second. This is simply algebra, so I imagine I might be able to figure this out without even looking it up. Perhaps maybe we want y by itself. Not totally sure that we can. We have to divide both sides by that, but we can't divide 8y by 8x, I assume. That wouldn't make a lot of sense, would it? Alright, we're going to look this up for sake of not wasting time, because I've never done an equation like this. I don't know if people learned this in high school, but I sure didn't. So, linear system of equations. Let's figure that out. Matter of fact, somebody told me one time that ChatGPT is a good tutor. Let's find out. I don't think it is. I think that's a load of bullshit, but and we're just going to let it search and reason. A linear system of equations. Let's find out. Okay, so let me just kind of look over it real quick. What is this thing talking about? What the heck? There is a much simpler way to do this, I promise you. This is what I'm talking about. How the fuck is this? This doesn't explain anything. Okay, let's see. An elimination method. Oh, no, wait, substitute. I skipped a few. It looks like I skipped a one. Substitution method. Solve one of the equations for one variable in terms of the other. For example, from the first equation, I don't get it. Let's ask it to... I don't think this is a good idea. I think ChatGPT is a complete waste of time. But I've been told that it teaches you how to do shit like this, so let's see. I hope it doesn't teach you how to do it the same way it teaches you how to code, because, whew. Coefficient is 1. I see. Substitute into the other equation. Replace the isolated variable in the other equation with the expression you just derived. An equation with only one variable, which you can solve directly. What? 2y minus 6. I don't understand the steps that it's... Let me see. So x equals 6 minus 2y. How is it getting that? Oh, I see. I see. I see. It's substituting it. It's moving this over here. I get it. So then x will equal that into equation 2. So equation 2 is 3x minus y. So we're doing 3 this minus y equals 4. Ah, okay. That makes sense now. That makes sense now. I was not taught this in high school, sadly, but I'm about to learn it right now. So basically all this is saying is we could choose one of these equations here. Let's choose, I don't know, the bottom one, for example. So what we're going to do is we're going to substitute this and this. We're going to swap them. So now we're going to have, and then we also need to change the signs here, obviously. So 26 minus 4y equals 3x. Now, why does this work? I'm hoping that you can understand this, but sometimes I overestimate myself and sometimes I underestimate myself, and I honestly don't know which one I'm doing here, so forgive me if I'm insulting your intelligence. But let's think of it in terms of this. So let's say, forget the x and y, let's say we have 3 plus 2 equals 5, for example, right? Okay. Now, we don't need to solve for anything here, but let's just say for the sake of it, let's just say we wanted to get 3 from 5 and 2. Well, if 3 plus 2 equals 5, then 5 minus 2 will equal 3. Now, I hope that's quite clear to you, and I hope that makes sense. We're doing exactly the same thing here, just with those variables. It's the same exact thing. We're moving things around so we can get other things. I would assume that makes sense to everybody. I don't think that's very complicated, and I honestly feel like I'm just insulting people's intelligence. But anyway, so basically by doing that, now 3 is over here. 3x is over here. Now what ChatGPT didn't explain is whether or not we need to do things for that, but I don't think we do. So basically, now we have a thing here. So now we have a thing here that only has y. So what can we do with this? Well, if we have a thing here, this produces 3x. Okay, so this produces 3x. So if what we can do here is we can go over here with this equation and we can say, okay, well that must mean that 8 8 times 3, hold on, 8 times 3, why is this so big? Let me redo that. 8 times 3 parentheses this equation, 26 minus, hello there, minus 4y. And then we want to add 8y, and that's going to equal 64. I hope this makes sense so far. Literally all we did was replace x here. We replaced x with this. Or rather, hold on, that might be confusing. We replaced x with this, okay? Now, obviously, we have this here, so 3x equals this. And so we need to actually multiply x by 3 for that to make sense. Anyway, I'm actually trying to think to myself whether or not, can't you just divide both sides actually? Hold on, let me think about something for a moment. Actually, this is wrong. I totally lied to you. This is totally wrong. It's not wrong, but per se, this is wrong. That specifically was wrong. Because actually, in order to get 3 here, we would need to divide. So in other words, what this actually is 8 26 fucking shit. 20, God almighty. 26 minus 4y divided by 3, I believe, over 3. And then plus 8y. I think that's how you do it. I hope I'm not crazy. ChatGPT purposely chose an equation with like where 1 was the whatchamacallit. Kind of annoyed me, but that's okay. Okay then. Hold on a minute. Let me go back here. Is there like an easier way to do this that I'm not... Alright, hold on a minute. I need more information. I need to make sure I'm doing this right. I don't want to teach y'all wrong, I guess. The coefficient. I didn't. to say that right, but that's okay. I don't think my logic is wrong, but yeah, I was right. I was right. Okay, I'm not crazy. I knew I wasn't crazy. I thought I had that right. Which sucks because this is going to be a little bit harder to figure out, actually. Let me think about this for a second. How in the hell do I even begin to solve this? Let me take a look here. So, simplify and solve for y. Wait, how did it do that? What do you mean? What? Oh, I see. That kind of makes sense. Can I even do that, though? Well, we can't really divide 8 by 3, per se, but... Wait, can you? No, you can't. Wait, no. I guess if we really wanted to, we could use a calculator for that. Alright. This is a little funky, but we're going to use a calculator. So basically what it's trying to tell me is that in order to take this... Oh my lord, what just happened? In order to take this value out of here, which is what we want to do because otherwise shit gets complicated, we need to divide this by it. Which makes sense because multiplying a third of this would be the same as multiplying this by this divided by a third. If that makes sense. I hope it does. So 8 divided by 3. Now, unfortunately, we're not going to get a whole number. I wish we could get like a fraction or something. Or actually, we can get a fraction. What am I talking about? We can just use a fraction. So we're going to simplify this to 8 divided by 3, parentheses, 26 minus 4y plus 8y. And then we're just going to do this. Equals 64. A little crude, but whatever. Okay, so basically, I think we can combine. Can we not combine like terms, or am I losing it totally? I don't think we can. We need to multiply 8 divided by 3 by 26. and 4y, which is going to be really funky, I think. I don't think that's going to give us a whole number. Something tells me I'm doing something wrong here. I'm just a guess. Just a guess. I might be doing something wrong here. All things considering. I probably should have done the top equation instead of the bottom equation. Oh, whatever. We're already in it now. So 8 divided by 3 multiplied by 26. Oh my god. Alright, screw this. Hold on a minute, let me think about this for a second. I could have also solved, I should have solved for y instead. And replaced y, that would have made so much more sense. Okay, so, turns out you really don't want to do this with uneven numbers, because it makes things quite difficult. I think instead, the concept is the same, but instead of doing x, we're actually going to do y instead. So the way to do that would be 3x minus 26 should equal 4x or 4y. So now we did literally the same thing, but now we have a 4 instead of a 3 that we can divide by. This makes things so much easier because now we can do 8 parentheses. Well, yeah, hold on. 8 parentheses 3x minus 26 all over 3. God almighty. It's a little hard to write doing this. In case you're wondering, I have a keyboard and my drawing tablet in my lap at the same time. Don't worry about it. Oh, Eterna. Hi, Eterna. No idea what's going on? Well, thanks, boss. I appreciate you being here. Basically, we're just learning some math. This is something called... What is it called again, actually? Hold on. What is it called again? System of equations. And this is basic algebra, but it's just system of equations, where you're trying to figure out 2 variables instead of 1 by using 2 equations. Oh no, who left? Oh well. I suppose there's not much I can do about it. Right, so plus 8y equals 64. So same situation. The difference... This is not the same situation. Actually, I wrote this wrong. That's not right at all. That's supposed to be a 4. There we go. Okay. So same situation. The difference is way easier to figure out. So 8 divided by 4. So we're going to do what we did before, because again, this is the same. So 8 divided by 4 is 2. Now, oh my, can I please write a little better? We do 2, 3x minus... Oh shit, I did this wrong. Damn it all. God help me. I'm supposed to do this. We're supposed to be substituting the y, not the x. Okay. All over 4. 64 I'm just going to speed back to where we're supposed to be here. So 8y plus 2, because again, parentheses 3x minus 26 equals 64. And yep, okay. So far so good. I really wish I would have set some things up here, but that's okay. Can I perhaps do that? Nope. Can't do that? No? Okay. This? Nope. Nothing? Okay. Alright, whatever, fine. Alright. And so now it's just a simple game of simplification again. Wait. No, hold on. Wait, something's fucked up here. Oh, I see what's fucked up. I see where I... Oh my lord. Oh my lord. I'm so used to doing X that it's all frigged up. This is supposed to be... Why does that not have like a specific thing? 8x. Oops. What is happening? What the fucking shit? What is happening? I suddenly can't draw. Is it the alpha channel? What is going on right now? Okay, there we go. Let's try that. What the hell? It changed anyway. What is happening? Why is it... What is going on right now, bro? What? What the hell? Okay, there we go. I don't know what I just did. I don't know where I effed up there, but here we are. Where... Like... Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Oh wait, that's what's supposed to happen. Ah! I'm so dumb. Okay. This is what I wanted to do. Oh my god, sorry. This is gonna take forever, isn't it? Okay. Finally, now we only have the x on the left side of the equation. It only took me, you know, 5 fucking years to figure this out. So, now it's just a simple game of doing the typical stuff. So we're gonna, like I said, we did this already. We did this once before. Same deal. So now we're gonna bring it back down again. So 2 times 3 is 6x, and then minus 20, let's see, so 52. And then that equals 64 as well, of course. And then we'll move down again. And then now, things get interesting. So these are like terms. I'm just going to do this in all one step. I feel like we all know how to do this. These are like terms, and then we're moving this over. We're going to do this at the same time because I don't want to be here all day. I don't think you do either. So 8 is 6, 14. So that's 14. God almighty. 14x equals What's 64 plus 52? I could do that, or I can use a calculator. What is happening? How is it? What the fuck? Alright. 64 plus 52. It's not that hard, but whatever. Alright, 116. 116. Now we just want to divide that by 14. And that should give us x. I'm just going to do this. No, I'm not. Let's say x equals sorry, no. I got confused again. Aren't we doing y? No, we are doing x. I think. Yeah, we're solving for x. Okay. I shouldn't have closed the calculator so quickly. Should really have a hotkey to that, shouldn't I? I'll consider it later. So 116 divided by 14. Something tells me that's not going to be, yeah, that's not going to be a round number. So I don't think that's right. I'm gonna just go ahead and say that's probably not right. I think I did something wrong somewhere. Is it plus or minus 26? No, it's plus. For y 6 should be 52. Yeah, 50, 52. 8x plus 6x should most definitely be 14x plus 52 plus 52. We already used the calculator for that 116. Surely it can't be. You think it's a fractional value? That seems really unlikely. I mean, we can test it, I guess. All right, let's test it. So 8 parentheses 14 plus 8 parentheses again 3 16 minus 26 divided by 4. What does that equal? Hey, I mean, no, we did the math right. That's crazy. It's a fractional value. I was not expecting it to be a fractional value. I was not expecting x to be anyway, so that's highly unusual. But hey, whatever. Can we reduce it, though? I don't know if... I think we can. Let's see. 116 divided by 2, perhaps? Yeah, that could be 58. So 58 divided by... So that's 58, 7. So we can reduce it to... Can 7 be reduced? No. Wait, can 7 be reduced at all? No, 7 cannot be reduced. So that's really 58 over 7. Now, why it is, I don't know. It gave us an awfully difficult question to answer, that's for sure. But we still need to figure out what y is. And y should be equal to... Well, that should be simple. It's right here. It's equal to this. So we should be able to do... so y should be equal to 3 parentheses 58 over 7 minus 26 all over 4. So yeah, let's just do that math real quick to figure that out. So y should be equal to... Okay. So 3 over... Hello? Why the fuck did it just steal my thing? 58 divided by 7 minus 26. Matter of fact, I meant to do this. All over 4. That can't be right. Did I do something wrong? I don't think I did. That's a really weird number for y to be, let me tell you. So it's probably a fraction of some kind. Let's instead... Let's see if we can get a solid number from this. Not really, it seems. Okay. I guess I shouldn't be surprised. So what fraction would this be? Let me think about this for a second. How can I figure out the fraction to this? Come on, Colin, this ain't that hard. So it should be... What's 3 multiplied by 58 divided by 7? Does that give me a whole number? No, of course not. Minus 26. It's just going to be... Yeah. Obviously. So maybe I can... Is that as far as it can be reduced without, like, exploding? I think it is. Well, let's just see So that's what we calculated it to be. Let's just see what the website says it's going to be, because I get the feeling either I'm doing something wrong or... Oh. Oh, we're supposed to do... Wait, what? Oh, I just realized that y'all can probably hear Discord now. Hold on a minute. I can't very well because I have my audio turned down. Hold on a minute. I will... Let me turn the music down, actually, and then just, like, be able to hear y'all, I guess. Probably makes more sense, I suppose. Oh, okay. Now I can hear y'all well. What's up? We're doing math. Oh, that's fun. I didn't realize anybody was talking. Since streamer mode is on, I couldn't tell people were joining, and I didn't realize Noxel was, has joined at some point. And it was really low. Alright, let's see here. Something doesn't seem right about this, but I assume the equation is correct. Alright, they're talking about games. I'm going to deafen for a while. Yeah. Sorry, I just wanted to focus on this because I'm confused now. Clearly we did the math right, or at least we seem to have done the math right, I think. So how did we end up with the wrong answer? X equals 6 and Y equals 2. Okay, so I think I've figured out where I fail when it comes to math, it seems. It looks like it's system of equations. It looks like I need practice. So I guess this is what we're going to do for stream. Sorry, not sorry. Where is... There we go. So we're going to have to figure this out together. No. There we go. Oh, I just realized you probably can't hear the music that well because I turned it down from the app itself. There we go. Okay. How in the heck did we get this wrong? So let's see. Oh, man, there is no good place for my keyboard to be, I swear. Just always in the way, no matter where it is. Okay, so it says 8. It says X is 6 and Y is 2. So 8 times 2 I wonder if... Okay, hear me out. I wonder if this is still technically right. You know what I mean? So, like... Okay, so let's... So hear me out for a second. 8x plus y, 8y equals 64. So... So 8x plus 8y equals 64. So let's just quickly see here. Perhaps there's more than one answer to this. Or maybe not. There's probably not more than one answer to it because it's probably meant to be a natural number. But I want to see anyway. Just to double check something, I want to make sure that we actually are getting x correctly. So 8.28 blah 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 blah. 58 divided by 7. Okay, yeah. So I did reduce it correctly. So we're gonna do 8 parentheses 58 divided by 7, and then we're gonna add 8 parentheses, and this is going to be a doozy. We need to add this equation here. I can't do the thing for some reason suddenly. That's fine. What? I don't understand what's going on there. But let's see here. So 3. No, wait. Actually, we need to go back. Another parentheses. 3 parentheses 58 divided by 7 parentheses minus 26 parentheses once again divided by 4, and then yeah, that should give, so that gives 64. So technically we didn't do this wrong, we just did it wrong. So we have sort of the right answer, but only in decimal form. I guess technically speaking, this is the wrong answer because it's in decimal form. So because it can't be reduced, this is wrong, since it's not a natural number. So we really did just do something wrong in our figuring here. And I blame ChatGPT. I want to be clear. I blame ChatGPT because I said that ChatGPT was a shitty tutor, and it clearly fucking is, because I followed its directions. I ended up getting the right answer, but with the wrong answer. So yeah. And anyway, in case you're curious, yes, obviously 8 times 6 plus 8 times 2 equals 64. So the real answer is 6 and 2. That's the real answer here. This is all bullshit. So we are going to, hold on a minute, I'm just going to quickly, I don't want a box, I want, wait, is that rectangular select? Yes. Okay, so we're just going to do this. Rectangular select here, delete. Nope, nope, get rid of the rectangular. Get rid of the rectangle. There we go. Okay, so we're going to try again. We're going to try and figure this out. We're going to generate some new ones. Oh, accidentally generated again. So let's do this one. So let's see if we maybe maybe ChatGPT didn't tell us a lie, but we misunderstood. Let's see. I've got to be honest, I don't think we misunderstood. But maybe we did. Wait, solve for x. See what I'm saying? See, this is what I'm talking about. This is a wrong answer. This is just wrong. It's not supposed to be a fraction. It's supposed to be a whole number. It's supposed to be a whole fucking number. And I hate ChatGPT so much for this. So it gave us... It's telling us to do it incorrectly, basically, is what's happening. And hell, it actually, I should have recognized this. It told us to do it wrong here too. So the substitution method is not going to work here, it seems. I thought that was the right answer, and it does give you a sort of right answer, like a fractional value. That's not the real answer. The real answer is a whole number. So what we need, actually, maybe we need the elimination method. Wait, what the fuck? No, it's still wrong. It's still wrong. Holy shit. This is crazy. This is fucking crazy. Alright. Fuck it. Fuck ChatGPT. We're gonna go find the real damn answer, because this fucking AI is worthless. It's fucking worthless. I tried to tell them... Somebody on, like, and it was the randomest thing too. Somebody on a random fucking comment section on a YouTube video of some, like, math professor was like something along the lines of, "Hey, if you're using AI to get answers and you're doing it wrong, you should be using it like a tutor." And I was like, well, it would suck as a tutor too if it can't get the answers right. And then they were like, no, blah, 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 blah. They half convinced me that it was a good tutor. It's a shit tutor. It's a fucking shit tutor. That's what it is. It didn't give us the right answer at all. Now this is talking about the substitution method. Elimination method, matrix method. None of this will... The substitution method did not give us the right answer. Or ChatGPT told us to do it wrong. Does this give us any... Oh, hey, help. Whoa, what the fucking shit? That's a lot of steps. No, wait. No, wait. It is using the substitution method. We weren't necessarily wrong, it seems. Or rather, ChatGPT wasn't necessarily wrong. Let me see here. Still ended up with the wrong answer, though. Alright, what are we doing? What's going on here? Why is this suddenly in parentheses? What's going on? Why is this happening? What the heck? What in the heck did it just... What? Where did this 8 come from? This 8 came from nowhere. What is going on? I'm quite confused by this. I don't under this step. Oh, no, I see. Oh, okay. I thought that, I'm not gonna lie, I read this and I thought this was like the step number. Alright, hold on. Let's back up for a second. So, I see. So we're multiplying 8 by the entire equation. Okay, so I see what's going on. We're multiplying 8 by the entire equation. That will multiply... I don't know why I didn't multiply this, but we're multiplying... That will allow us to multiply by this, multiply by this, and multiply by this. I don't know why we didn't multiply this, though. Hold on, let me think about that for a second. Not sure I'm following here. But that gets rid of that, which makes sense. So I'm just trying to figure out why this happens. So why don't we multiply 8 by negative 6 here? Multiply it by everything else. Just trying to think about this. Why would we do that? Perhaps because... I think I get it. I think it's because that when you're multiplying it by 8, you're actually... And I kind of get the general idea, but I don't at the same time. I guess I get it. Because you're multiplying negative 6 by this here, that's what matters, if that makes sense. And what we're really trying to do is we're trying to make it so we're reducing this. So you're trying to... I know why we're doing it. I know why we're multiplying. I'm just not... I was trying to figure out why we're not multiplying 6. And I think the reason why we're not multiplying negative 6 is because... I guess because we're trying to do this and it's multiplying that. I'm going to be honest. I don't fully understand it. But I'm going to keep that in the back of my head for now. I might figure that out later. But for now, this explains roughly how to do our equation. So we're going to do this one right here. So 4x plus 6y equals negative 36. Nope. So 4x plus 6 y equals negative 36. And then what's our next one? 8x plus 4y equals negative 56. 8x plus 4y equals, wait, what? Negative 56. 56. Okay. So, once again, the same kind of trick, but this time we do it correctly. So, what we're going to do is we're going to try and get x. So 4x is also equal to negative 36 plus, minus 6y. Okay. And then, of course, we get x by doing this. Negative 36 minus 6y all over 4. Okay. So now what we do is we create our equation again. We say 8x, but in this case x is negative 36 minus 6y all over 4, and then plus 4y, and that equals negative 56. Okay, so unlike what ChatGPT told us to do, we are going to instead multiply the entire thing by 4. So we're going to multiply this by 4, this by 4, and that by 4 to get a new equation, 8 over, because that allows us to remove the 4, basically. That's the point. Wait, what the fuck? Why did I do it so small like that? 4 times negative 36 minus 6y plus 4, nope, not 4y. 4 times 4, which is 16. Yep. So 16y. And then also, what's 4 times 56? 2 times 56 is 112. 112 times 2 is 224. So that should be, I think, negative 224. Let me think about that again. Would it be negative? Yeah, I think it would be negative. Okay. So now we just simplify again. And break it down once more. So you'll notice this time we're not dealing with any fractions, which is awesome. So we could combine like terms. Kinda, sorta, not really. Actually, never mind. So where do we go from here? Let's think about this. Let's take a look at that help sheet one more time. Luckily, this is a different equation that it's showing us here. So after we've done that, multiply this. Oh, I just realized I'm an idiot. Hold on a minute. That's not actually there. That's not supposed to be there. Hold on. This is not supposed to be here. Right, because the whole idea was that we got rid of that. Man, I really wish I could, like, change the size or something without messing up my thing. Oh, whatever. Okay. So first of all, I gotta do that. Then, what do we do after that? So after we've done that, and we have this, then we have this. Oh, right, of course. How could I forget? Obviously, we need to do that. So we need to... What the fuck? Oh, I see what I just did. How did I do that, though? Okay, never mind. I don't see what I did. Anyway, we gotta do that. So, what's 8 times 36? Oh, God. I'm gonna use a calculator for that. Eight times negative 36, in fact. It's negative 288. So negative 288 minus 6 times 8. I should know that. So 16 times 2. Wait, what's 8 times 3? 8, 16, 24. 24 times 2, 58. Should be 58. I think 58y plus 16y. Did I get that right? 8 times 6 is 58. Once again, so 8 times 2 is 16, plus 8, 24. 24 times 2, 40, and then... No, not 58, I think it's actually 48. My bad. I did get it wrong. It did seem wrong. In case you're wondering, no, I don't have my times tables memorized. I just do kind of quick math in my head, which doesn't always work. But anyway. Oh, hold on. I forgot a thing. Plus 16y. Matter of fact, actually, we can go ahead and combine those. Let's go ahead and combine those. 48 plus 16. Let's think about this. Should be simple. So 4 or 5. 8 plus 6. So 6. 62. Seems about right. 62y So we're skipping a few steps here just to save on space and time here. Let me just think about that. 48. 6. No, I got that wrong. It's not 62. It's 64, isn't it? How did I not know that? I'm literally... We do programming on this channel. I should know what 16 plus 48 is. Oh my god. That's so embarrassing. Alright, anyway. That's definitely right. So now it's just, finally, it's just a matter of doing a regular algebra, okay? So, we're just going to add 288 to both sides. And that will actually give us a positive number, which I'm not going to attempt to do that in my head. I could, but I'm not going to. Oh, for the love of God, why does it do that? 224, oh shit, wait. Negative 224 plus 288 equals 64. Maybe I should have known that too, but anyway. I didn't, so it is what it is. Well, hey, ain't that interesting? Oh, what the fuck? Does y equal 0 in this case? That doesn't seem right. But sure enough, if then y will equal 0. So 4x plus 6. This is really 4x. So we're at 4x plus 6y equals 36. Okay. So 4x plus 6, 0, negative 36. It seems a little odd, but okay. So we know that just cancels itself out, so it's really just 4x equals negative 36 36. Divide that by 4. And the answer that we should get is what is that actually? Hold on. 36, wait. Not 32, so that's not going to be. So it's going to be a negative number, I think. It's 36 divided by 4. Can it even be divided by 4? Yeah, it could be divided by 4. Of course, it's 9. So it should be negative 9 in theory. But somehow that just doesn't seem right. So supposedly, how do they do that squiggly thing? Like that? I don't know if that's how you do it at all. But anyway, it's so y, x, or actually I think that should be, so x, y should equal negative 9, 0. But the thing I don't like about that is it doesn't make a lot of sense. So if we take that, and then Control C. Damn it all. Where's my... What the fuck? Okay, so that's supposedly the answer, right? So let's test this. Calculator. Let's see. So 4 9 plus 6. We already know that this is probably going to be... This one will give us probably the right answer, but I wonder about the other one. So this will give us 36. Okay. What about this one? So 8 minus 9 plus 4, 0. That doesn't give us the right answer. We did something wrong somewhere. Of course we did. Of course we did. So where did we go wrong? I didn't think that I messed it up this time. So first of all, let's undo that. Let's see. So 4x should be equal... What's 56 times 4? $224, so I got that right. And then 8 times 6 should be 48 for sure. Yeah, 8 times 6 is 48. What about 8 times 36? 288. Times negative 36. 288. It occurs to me just now, actually, that this... So we really shouldn't have skipped the step. Because I'm realizing now... Oh, shit. So I'm realizing now that... Oh, for fuck's sake. Did I not literally just click the stupid fucking thing? Let's try this again. So I'm realizing that... I didn't change the size. Why did the size change? Okay, so let's try this. Alright. Okay, alright, you know, maybe I just won't circle it. Oh, well, for fuck's sake. What is happening right now? This is crazy. This is insane. This is actually insane. So why is that happening? Are they separate brushes? Must be what it is. All right. That is that is negative 6y. And we were adding that to positive 16y. And wait, where did I get 64y from? Oh, my mistake. Hold on. Wait. Back up. This is actually, this here is negative 48y. And we are adding it to 16y, which is positive. So this is where I frigged up. I thought we were adding positive 48y to positive 16y, but we are not. This should be 32, actually. Now, I wish I could pick... Can I pick, like, a different brush or something? How am I doing that thing where I'm changing brushes? I wish I knew that. That'd be awesome to know how to do. Anyway. Now, I'm sure there's a way to do this. What is this? I will figure this out at some point. But for now, I'm just going to crudely do this. In fact, let's also... So this is not going to be that. 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 And all of this has to go to... this has to go. That's going to be wrong. Okay, let's try this again with the correct stuff this time. And honestly, had I not... had I not tried to skip steps, and I would not be in this situation to begin with. I thought I was all smart, and it turns out I look real stupid now. That's how this goes. So, what this should be is 32y. Negative 32y specifically. $32y. What's interesting here is I have this negative symbol here too. So that, and that should still be negative because that's we're subtracting now, I think. Let me think about that for a second. Yes, we're subtracting now, yes. Okay. So if you ever get confused about negatives and positives, don't think of it about like subtracting a negative over a positive or anything like that. Just think of it this way. Think of them as separate numbers. Oh, wait a minute. Think of them as separate numbers. So this is a negative number, and this is a negative number. You're always adding of sorts, but you're doing what's called summing. Summing, not adding. Don't think of it as adding, think of it as summing. And summing just means that you're taking whatever this is and you're putting it into that. So like, let's just say, I just want to clarify this to help myself and to help you so we can't make the same mistake again. So if you have, for example, let's say you have, let's say you have 6, I don't know, minus 2. this is not 6 minus 2. This is positive 6 and minus 2, or negative 2. And you're summing them together. This is positive 6 and negative 2. You're summing them together. If you sum them together, it will give you the same answers, the same thing. So you're saying, I want to combine these two things. This is a negative 2, this is a positive 6. I'm combining these two things. And then you're going to end up getting 4. Okay? And then, of course, you could think of this as positive 4 as well. That's positive 4. It's important to think of things in terms of their signs and not in terms of what you're actually doing to them, because you'll get confused. So I think in school they teach you it this way. In school they teach you, okay, you have 6 minus 2, right? Well, maybe this was a bad example. I don't know. But in school they just teach you that you're subtracting this, right? You're subtracting these two things. So you're saying 6 is going to be less 2, right? You're taking 2 from 6. But what you're doing here is no different than what you're doing here. It's just the difference is the actual thing you're doing becomes irrelevant. You're always summing them. If they're together like this, you're summing them. And, I mean, it works the same way. So, like, if you were adding 2, then this is just positive 6 and positive 2. And then you sum those together. You combine those. That becomes 8. You know, it's not special. Now, where things get confusing and the way they teach you in school is stupid. Because what they teach you in school, when you do negatives, is they say, all right, you're going to do 6 plus negative 2. And what does that equal? Well, this is stupid. This doesn't make any sense. Why even do this? This is the same thing. This right here is the same thing as this. These two signs are completely irrelevant. It's only this sign that's relevant. If you remember that, you won't get confused. So if you ever see plus negative something, tell it to go to hell and just replace that with negative. You're subtracting at that point. It's the same difference. Anyway, I hope that made sense. And I hope it helped. But anyway, so going back to what we were doing here, I'm just going to clear off the mess I just made real quick. So we're doing the same deal that we're doing here. We're doing this stuff, and we're doing that thing to do that. And then now we're doing 32 instead, which will give us a positive number. And the positive number is, of course, 2, because 64 divided by 32 is 2. Yeah. So, that makes a lot more sense, mind you. And so now we just need to figure out what the hell x is. So we know now that, what is that equation? 6y. So we know to do 6 parentheses 2. And basically what that will be, so that should be, so then we just, so that should be the same as, so 6 parentheses 2, that's 12. So subtract 12. So remember, that's positive. So that's, whoopsies. So that's a positive thing. So we're not thinking of this in terms of adding 4x plus 6,2. We're thinking of this as one unit. This is positive 6 parentheses 2, which is, of course, 12. So we're subtracting it to cancel these. This is basic stuff here. And then we're subtracting 12. So obviously, once again, we have two negatives here. We're subtracting from a subtraction. we are summing a negative and a negative. Okay? So it's no different than just adding them together and throwing the sign back on them. Anyway, so that's going to tell us that 4x is equal to, let's see here, so 12, 6, 8, 48. Yeah, it's going to be 48, negative 48. Matter of fact, let me just make that a little bit more clear. Negative 48. And then we're going to divide by 4 here to get x. 48 divided by 4, that should be... What is that actually? No, wait, so let me think about that for a second. So 8 times 4 is 32. So it's not 8, obviously. It's not 4. Oh, wait a minute. Isn't that 12? Yeah, it's 12. So x is 12. So then our answer here is... Wait, no, negative 48 divided by 4 should be negative 12, isn't it? Wait, let me think about that for a second. I think it's negative. Let me just double check myself before I frig up again. Negative 48 divided by 12. No, sorry, why did I say 12? Divided by 4, my bad. It's negative 12. That's what I thought. Okay, just making sure. Negative 12. 2. So negative 12 and 2. So let's test our theory out. You know, I would bring it up there, but screw it. So let's see here. I'll write it down in this space over here, actually. So 4 negative 12 plus 6, 2, and then 8x, which is negative 12 again, plus 4, 2. So these should equal this. So let's see, calculator. Trying to use my mouse like a fool. Okay, so let's see here. 4, let's see, negative 12, plus 6, parentheses 2. That should equal 36. There we go. That was most likely to be right. So let's see if this ends up correct. 2, 12 plus 4, 2. And that's, what? How'd we end up with the same fucking... It's supposed to be 56. How is this possible? How did I fuck this up a second time? What is going on? I was so confident. Six times 2 is 12. Negative 48. Divided by 4. Which is 12. I'm pretty damn sure of that. Yeah, I calculated. I used the calculator. So I got y wrong again? How did I get y wrong again? That can't be the case. Oh. Oh, fuck, I accidentally. Accidentally pressed the thing. One moment, please. Where is my question mark? There it is. Everybody left the VC I was in. I guess I might as well leave at this point too. Not like I was saying anything. Save on some resources, I suppose. Okay. Oh lordy, okay, so what in the world is going on here? What did I do wrong? I must have did something wrong. But what am I doing wrong? Thought I followed the instructions pretty clearly. Let me look at the instructions again. Let's see. Wait, hold on a minute. This ended up getting... Why is... Oh no, that makes sense. So 8 times 6. 48. Let me just double check something. So what's 8 times negative 6? Negative 48, so I had that right. What about 8 times negative 36? Negative 288. About 4 times 56. $224. And what do they do with the like terms? They combine them. Hold on a minute. I am solving for y, right? Yeah. I'm pretty sure I did this right, but somehow I got the wrong answer. $8x plus 4y. Should be negative 56. Well, let's see here. What time is it? I was really hoping to move past algebra today, to be honest. It seems like this could be a bit of a challenge. For me, anyway. I don't know why. This shouldn't be. I thought this seemed pretty simple, all things considering. What am I doing wrong then? So this should end up as negative 48 plus 16. Okay, negative 48. Nope, hold on. Negative 48 plus 16. Wait, fuck. Should be 32. Negative 32y. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I see the problem. I see the problem. I forgot a sign. It's supposed to be negative 32y. And we're dividing by negative 32. So 64. I know 64 is supposed to be positive. 64 divided by negative 32 is negative 2, not positive 2. Damn it. Rookie mistake. Rookie mistake. And now we need to redo these equations because these are now wrong. I'm going to start using my mouse to erase things. That way it will switch for me. So actually, this will become positive. All right, hold on a minute. Negative 2. So become plus 12. plus 12. This will end up being not 48, but actually negative. Is that 24, I think? Yeah. Negative 24. Isn't that a 6? Yeah, 6, I think. Negative 6 to be precise. I believe, anyway. Should be negative 6, negative 2. Let's just go over here and quickly replace that. Yes, that should be right. That should be right this time. Classic mistake. Okay. So, sorry about that. My stepdad walked in. So let's see here. I wonder what's stinking in here. I need to do some laundry, I suppose. So let's see here. Right. So we need to change this. Negative 6 plus 6 negative 2. I think. Did I get that right? Yeah, that should be right. Same deal here. Negative 6, negative 2. Alright, let's hope we get it right this time. I might do one, as much as I didn't want to stick with algebra today, or rather not this low-level algebra, or at least what I thought was low-level, I might actually end up sticking to... Why do I keep writing a 6? I might end up doing one more of these at least, before moving on to the next thing. I wanted to do some quadratic formulas because those are awfully complicated and I don't know how to do quadratic formulas, so I need to learn today, or at least that was my plan, before I realized that I can't even do system equations like this, system of equations. But it seems to me like we have ourselves answer. Let's just double check ourselves here. So we know the first equation is going to be right because we derived it, but let's just double check it anyway. Maybe we did it wrong. This will tell us if we got x wrong at least. This will tell us if we got x wrong. The next one will tell us if we have one of the other ones wrong, or y, or whatever. So 36 is right. So that's good. So let's cross our fingers here. This will tell us if we got Both right. 56, let's go. We did it. Success. Success. All right. Just a little bit of sign flipping. All right, so our answer is -6, -2. Let's see if we were right. -6, -2. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Let's fucking go. All right, so let's hide the answers again and generate one more. We're going to do the first one up here. Interesting. Let's do a different one. I want something with a little bit bigger numbers. All right. So -2. Let's, there's a lot going on here. Let's actually just drop down. Oh, never mind. I don't have any more space. I was going to say let's drop down, but fuck it. You know what else I just realized? I could just also, can't I clear layer? Forgot how to use the GIMP apparently. I swear there's a way to clear layer though. Ah, whatever, we'll just delete it. And then add a new one. New layer. Okay. There we go. Okay. Just move that there. So let's see what we got. So -2x plus 8y. So -2x plus 8y equals 68. And then 7x minus 8y. So 7x minus 8y equals what? -98. Okay. So let's see here. Same deal. We should be able to do this first time this time. And I'm actually gonna change my approach a little bit. And I'm actually gonna increase this. Ah, never mind. I'm gonna change my approach just a little bit and kind of actually wait. Yeah. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna kind of do this right here. Damn it all. I'm on the right layer, right? Yeah. Alright, so Control C, no, sorry, Control X, Control V. We're gonna put this somewhere over here. Put that like right there. Reason why, because I want to be a little bit more structured in the way I do this. Nope. Okay. That is not the right size. Okay. So, let's see here. Actually, let's merge these. There we go. So here's what we're going to do. Same situation as before. We're going to solve for x first. And then, yeah. And I rather like the simplicity of that 2x right there. So we're going to say that -2x. Actually, you know what? Let's skip a step. I know we can do this. I believe in us. So let's just say that x is actually equal to 68 minus 8y all over -2. I think you can do that anyway. Pretty sure you can. Should be a problem. Let me just double check myself real quick. Yeah. So we know that that's how that should be. It's pretty simple. Yeah. So now we do the same deal we did before to try and get hold on, I'm thinking about something. Can't I actually just do it with the same equation, come to think of it? No, that wouldn't make sense, would it? No, you can't, of course not. So, let's see here. Wait, yeah, I can. Ah, fuck it. Let's just do it the way we're supposed to do it. Anyway. So, what we have now is 7 parentheses 68 minus 8y all over negative 2 minus 8y. And I'm just going to do that. So now we just need to do the thing that we did before, and we need to multiply 2 by this number. We need to put it up there, and then we need to also do it to that number. So then we should end up with 7, 6, 8, because this is going to cancel out, so these are going to cancel out. 6, 8 minus 8y. And we're going to subtract it by... Actually, won't that become a positive? Because we're multiplying a negative by a negative, I think. Yeah, we're multiplying a negative by a negative. So it's probably going to end up being positive. Negative 8 times negative 2. Or is it? Am I crazy? I don't think... I might be crazy, actually. Negative 8 times negative 2 should be 16 something. But, wait. So, let me think about this. So, negative times a negative is a positive. Wait, why is it a positive, though? Let me think about that for a second. So... Why is that? Am I losing my mind right now? I might be losing my mind. Let's... Okay, wait. Negative 8 times negative 2. It is a positive. Hold on, I'm trying to think about in my head why that is, actually. I like to understand this. I should know why that is. So I'm trying to think of it on a number line. So excuse me for going off on a slight random tangent. But in order for us to understand, like, okay, I know this seems really stupid. Like we're going back to fucking, like, 10th grade or something. But, or not even, maybe not even 10th grade, probably before that. But hear me out. We need to understand these fundamental concepts really well, because we're going to be working our way up from algebra to calculus, then to number theory. And actually understanding why negative 8 times negative 2 is a positive is very important. Because if you only remember from high school, if you only remember what your teacher told you, where they say a negative times a negative is a positive times a negative is a... I don't fucking remember. But if you only remember that, that means you don't understand it. You just remember it. You need to understand it. So here's our number line. Okay? 0. We're going I'm going to go ahead and substitute. No, I'm not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So we have negative 8 here. And then we're multiplying that by negative 2. So what happens on a normal number line when you multiply two things? Let's see. So on a normal number line, wait, hold on. I'm not going to be able to draw through that perfectly. So on a normal number line, when you multiply two things, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So on a normal number line, when you multiply 2 times 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8. When you multiply those two, what ends up happening, I suppose in a way the number line isn't very useful, but to understand this multiplication. But basically, what's happening is you're taking 8 and you're going another time. And you're jumping to 16. So you're adding 8 to 8 to get to 16. So really multiplication is just addition in a way. So we're just, because we're doing 2 here, we're going plus 8. So if multiplication is just addition, then why isn't this a negative 16? Well, let me think about that. I have to think about that. I actually don't know. Why isn't it negative 16? That's a great question. Right. I think I have the answer. Perhaps I do anyway. So maybe what we're actually doing here is actually what we're saying is... So actually maybe what we're saying is... let me think about this. I'm trying to make this make sense. So maybe what we're trying to say here, I mean, what we're trying to say is simple, right? We're saying 8 plus 8 equals 16. Because there's 2 of these. Right? But in essence, what is negative 2 of 8? Like, what is negative 2 of negative 8s? That's the question here. It doesn't really make sense at first. I'm trying to think here. So this was negative, right? So if this was somehow negative, then what we're really saying is... Actually, you know what? I take this back. You know what we're actually doing? No, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I get it now. Maybe. Perhaps. I think. It might make more sense, though, to say this. This is what we're really doing, aren't we? We're really saying plus 8 from 0 plus 8. So, ignore my negative sign here. That's what we're really saying in essence. So maybe what we're saying here... Hold on. It's still not making sense. Because even if we said that, then it would be like negative 8 negative 8 from 0. So maybe what we're really saying is like positive 8 hold on, I'm trying to think about this. I know I'm making 0 sense here. I should be able to understand this. There should be a simple number line explanation to why this happens. I want to know. I know this is so stupid. I know that I'm going way back into grade school here, but just hear me out, okay? Just hear me out. I want to know why a negative times a negative equals a positive. Before I continue, I have to understand this, because once you get into number theory, shit's going to be way more complicated. And if you don't understand this, you sure as hell ain't going to understand number theory. So why is this happening? Why does a positive times a positive not equal a negative? Why does a negative times a negative equal a positive? Perhaps the multiplier, or whatever it's called, the 2, in this circumstance, determines, so perhaps the 2 in this circumstance, so let's say perhaps the 2 in this circumstance, perhaps its like sign I will figure this out. I will figure this out if it kills me. Why does this happen? All right, let's find some help here. Let's get some help. I don't need to do this on my own. Why is a negative times a negative a positive? That's exactly what I want to know right there. Explain it to me, please. Alright, so let's see here. Understanding why a negative times a negative equals a positive involves several perspectives and mathematical principles. One approach is to consider the distributive property of multiplication over addition. For example, consider the equation 0 equals a plus negative a times b plus negative b. I don't get it. Explaining this using the distributive property gives 0 equals a times b plus a times negative b plus negative a times b. Well, yeah, that's definitely helping. Yeah, that's helping me understand what the fuck is going on. Oh, lordy. Okay, I got it. Negative 2 means we're doing the opposite of whatever this is. In other words, if we're saying that oh my god, how do I explain the fucking logic that I just pulled out of my ass? So when you subtract, you're doing the opposite of addition, right? And like we talked before, thinking about positive, like a positive plus a negative makes no sense. You should be thinking about a positive summed with a negative, right? Because they're the same thing in principle. So perhaps what we're saying here when we say a negative is the opposite of a positive. Obviously, right? So, in other words, on the number line, what we're really saying here is we're saying we're flipping the number line. So if we think of it as in two number lines, right? And this is going to make somehow less sense, but hear me out. So if we think of this as two number lines, okay, one number line, so one number line tells us the direction. So let's say, for example, this is negative 2. So this tells us the direction. And say we were actually multiplying negative 2 by 8. Then, well, what we'd actually be saying, in other words, is that we'd be going in this direction. Oh, shit, that's horrible. Yeah, wait. So what we're actually saying is we're going in this direction with negative 2, okay? And so we're going that way with 8. But because we have negative 8, we're flipping the direction again. So it's literally like saying, all right, so negative 2 is going to tell us to go left, but negative 8 is also going to tell us to go left, is going to tell us to go left too. So that cancels it out. It tells us to go right instead. So in other words, if we look at it this way, so it's telling us to go left here, and then this is telling us to go left. Now that makes less sense. But if this is the case, then this would be negative. Oh my god. That's what's confusing about this, I suppose, but we should probably be thinking of them as separate numbers at the end of the day. So we should consider that a negative 2 is going to flip the sign because it's going the opposite direction of a positive 2. So, in other words, if we think of it more binary, then we think of it like with the summing. So if we think of it more binary, the sign is really just telling us a direction on the number line to go. Okay? And realistically, the only time we would go left of the number line is when we see a negative number. Because a negative means we're going left. It means we're flipping the direction that we're multiplying from. Now, another negative means that we're flipping again. So, in other words, here's the logic we can think of. Okay, a negative will flip the direction of the line. And how does this work? How does this work in all cases? Well, it's simple. Okay, so I'm going to quickly erase some of this so I can explain my logic here. This is quite simple, actually. Why this happens on the number line, don't ask me. I'm trying to still think about it, but this rule will help us understand it a little better, at least. Okay, I'm just going to erase all that so I can explain this. Oh, I don't think I was supposed to erase that. That's fine. I don't care. We'll do that again in a minute. So, let's keep to our rule here. And let's say, okay, so let's make some examples. This rule will help us understand this better. It's a unified rule. So a negative will flip the direction on the line. So if we have a -2 times 8, that will flip the direction one time to go the opposite direction, making +16 go left of the number line to become -16. And if we do -2 times -8, what we're actually saying is we're flipping it not once, but twice. We're flipping it twice, in fact. So we're flipping it once to the left, and then from the left to the right. So that's why it becomes 16. Now, why is that the case? To be honest with you, I don't know. I am trying to figure that out in my head right now. How could I make this make sense? Because the rule itself makes it more simple instead of trying to memorize it. Obviously, this rule makes knowing whether or not it's a positive or negative simpler. What it does not explain is why the negative flips it in the first place. Why does it flip it? We need to know this. We need to understand this to understand number theory. I promise you. Let me think. So let's think about this for a second. We solved this, or I solved it before even starting the stream. I knew this already. But like, we solved this same conundrum by thinking about what it is we're doing when we actually add two numbers together. We know that when we add a negative plus a negative, we know that that's not really adding anything. You're summing them. So we're not thinking about it in terms of negative plus a negative. It's actually a negative minus the number that is negative. That's what we're really saying. And in other words, we're summing the things together. That's what we're doing. That's what addition is at its core, is you're combining them, right? So what is multiplication at its core? Well, it's a multiple. It's in the name, right? It's multiple of something. Okay? So we have multiple 8s. And to make 16, we have multiple 8s. How many multiples of 8s? 2 multiples of 8s. Or at least if this was normal, we would say, what we're actually saying when we say 2 times 8 is 16 is we're actually saying that we have, you could do this two ways, by the way. You could say that you have 8 multiples of 2, or you could say that you have 2 multiples of 8. It ends up the same. So if we think of it less as a series of summing or a series of addition, and we think of it more of a series of multiples, then maybe this starts to make more sense. Because now we can say, well, now we can say 8, we have here 8 multiples of negative 2, okay, which makes sense here. But then we would also have to say, equally, that we have negative 2 multiples of 8. So one way makes sense. The other way is a little harder to grasp. Right? And we need to understand this direction to understand why negative 8 multiples of negative 2 will equal positive 16. So, I think the way we can look at this is perhaps by saying is by exactly using this rule. This rule, oh. Okay, sorry about that. I was receiving food. So let's think about this. I'm gonna have my hand off of the thing for a little bit here to give us some time to think about this. So basically, what we're really saying here, a lot like before, if we think of it as in multiples instead of as in additions, then we can think of this as negative 2 multiples of 8. If you think of it as negative 2 multiples of 8, then what are you really saying there? You're also saying, in essence, what you're saying is well, I guess in essence what you're saying is you have negative multiples. So if you have positive multiples, then that's 2 8s. But if you have negative multiples, then that's 2 negative 8s. And I think you can take the same logic and make sense of this right here. Okay. You can say, I have negative 2 multiples of negative 8s. Well, what are you really saying? Well, you're saying that I have a negative... Well, you're literally saying that you have negative multiples of the number negative 8. So when you say you have negative multiples of something, what you're really saying is you're wanting to go backwards. You're going backwards. In essence, I almost said you're dividing, but you're not. That would be incorrect. But you're going backwards, right? You're saying that I want to multiply, or I have multiple negatives. But if you have... I know this is starting to make less and less sense as I explain it. But if you have negative multiples of a negative, then you're reversing the negative. You know, have you ever thought about this? I feel bad for the people who came up with this. Somebody had to come up with this convention. Well, it's not really just a convention. It actually makes sense if you really think about it. Like I have an intuition in my head now for this. I do, personally. But I wonder if what I'm saying makes sense to somebody else. And I bet it doesn't. I honestly bet that the one person that's watching this right now, which I appreciate you, is totally confused. because what I'm saying may not come, like, it really doesn't make sense externally, but it makes sense internally. I don't know. I just have to imagine, like, whoever came up with this had to have been racking their brain for a while. Or maybe it made sense then. Maybe when multiplication was first a thing, and they had to multiply a negative number, perhaps it made sense. Perhaps there was some circumstance that made sense. Sorry, I'm really just stalling for time while I eat. I hope this isn't too obnoxious. Do I actually have one viewer, or am I just... or am I just watching my own stream by accident? If I pause the preview shouldn't count. No, wait. It says I have 2 consecutive viewers. There's 2 people watching and just not chatting. That's alright, I still appreciate you. Concurrent viewers. Or is that just the maximum amount of concurrent viewers? I don't know. I'm trying to think of like a way I could make a number line that could explain this. It's easier to explain -2 times 8 because you can easily just say you have 8 -2's, which is like you're adding -2 to -2 to -2 to -2. You get what I'm saying? That's easy to explain. What's not easy to explain is how you can have 8 negative or 2 -2 eighths. That's harder to explain. Unless what you're really saying honestly, I don't know how to explain it any further. I think I did as good as I can do explaining this. And honestly, I think we need to move on. The important thing here is that I understand it. Okay. And basically, yeah. it's easy to explain one but not the other, I guess. And we'll just have to easily, at least we have a simple rule, right? So our simple rule to this is that instead of remembering, because in school, again, they teach you to remember that a negative times a negative is a positive, and a negative times a positive is a negative, and all that shit. But instead of doing that, instead of memorizing things, which is the wrong way to understand math, by the way, I just want to point that. I don't give a crap if your teacher thinks so. Otherwise, the wrong way to understand math is to memorize it. Learn it by understanding it. And understand that a negative will flip the direction of the number line. And two negatives, literally, two wrongs literally make a right. In this case, we're flipping the direction one time, and then we're flipping the direction another time. It's the best way I can explain it. It's the only way I am going to explain it going forward. There's slightly more intuition in my head now, but I don't know how to explain that intuition. So we're gonna stop frigging around with this, and we're going to finish up this we're gonna finish up this equation. 1 minute. Had to get my glove back on. So I hope this helped somebody at some point understand that a little bit better. I get the feeling I just confused you more, and I apologize, but try to think about that. Try to, after this stream, try to really consider why it is a negative will flip the direction of a multiplication number line. Just try to think about that. For now, we're just going to continue doing what we're doing here. Sorry, just taking me a minute to erase this. But anyway, going back to what we were doing, this spaghetti here is really just me saying that we need to multiply 2 by this, and by that, and then by that. So, in other words, 7, 68, and obviously the 2 cancels itself. And then once again, this is a negative times a negative. This is a negative 2 here. So that when we end up with a positive, and so that's positive 16. And then we equal, so negative 98 times negative 2. So we're flipping the direction 2 times, going positive. That would be, what is that? So that's 200 something. No, it's not 200. It's 196, I think. Yeah, 196. So negative 196. Okay. So now we do what we did before, and hopefully this time without making mistakes. So we're multiplying 7 by 68 and by 8. And I should do this step again. Now, I'm going to try to skip the step. This time when I skip the step, by God, I hope I get it right. But I know that we're multiplying a positive by a negative here, so that's going to be a negative. And we're about to add these two together. So it's going to be a negative summed with a positive. So a negative summed with a positive. So 68. What's six? Okay, we aren't going to need a calculator for that. Calculator. We're definitely going to need a calculator for that because I cannot do that in my head. 7. I wish I could. 68. So 476. So 476. So what did we just say? We said that well, we got to multiply that first. So So let's just say 7 times, we know that it's going to be negative 8, so negative 56. And then we're going to, remember, we're going to be adding or summing a positive number to that, which is the positive number 16. So we're going to end up with negative 40, so we're subtracting 40y, and then that's going to equal, once again, 196, negative 196. And then all we do now, this is a positive number, so we're going to subtract it. Okay, that's going to cancel. And then we're going to subtract, so once again, remember, we're summing a negative to a negative, okay? We're summing a negative to a negative right now. We're not subtracting, or we're not adding a negative to a negative. We're not subtracting a negative minus a positive. We're summing a negative to a negative. Okay, let's just remember that. And we are going to need a calculator for that again. I'm sure I could do this in my head, but it would take forever. I'm just going to add these because it's, again, the same. We could just add the sign later. So negative 672. Oh, hello there. My thing is not working. 672, all right. Negative 672. So now we're negative 40. This is another area I fucked up last time. So negative 40. Yeah. So then we're dividing by negative 40. Dividing by negative 40. So that y will equal whatever that is. Really should have set up a hotkey, but that's okay. Now the rules are similar here. In division, division is the opposite of multiplication. So all we have to do is remember that there's negative numbers flip the direction of the number line. We're dividing a negative by a negative, so the result will be a positive because we're flipping the direction 2 times. So it should be a positive. There it is. I really don't like the fact that that is a decimal number. Something tells me I did something wrong, but I'm going to roll with it for now. I don't think we're supposed to get decimal numbers here. I'm going to double check myself. Negative 2x plus 8y equals 68. No, 2x plus 8y equals 68. So then all we need to do is c8 minus 8y all over negative 2. So then we replace that with this. And then we divide or multiply negative 2 by that to reduce that, and then we multiply negative 2 by negative 8. Then we multiply negative 2 by negative 98. Should equal positive 16. 40y. So 7 times 8 Let me just quickly double check myself. So 7 times -8 equals -56, and then we're adding 16 plus 16 equals -40. And then I know we used a calculator to get that number. So let me just double check myself. 7 times positive 68, 76. So negative 196 minus 476, negative 672. Okay. Divide that by -40. Yeah, okay. Well, that's what I got. I'm pretty sure I did that right this time. I don't think I frigged anything up. Perhaps this is a special case. Maybe we don't get a whole number this time. I'm not sure. Or perhaps maybe there's some kind of like rule that I didn't know about. I don't know. Should be right. Should be fine. Okay. So now we need to solve for x, which is pretty simple. We already have the equation here. We're just going to replace y. So we're going to say 68. Actually, let me... So 68 minus 8 parentheses. What did I say? What did I say it was? Oh my lord, I can't see it. 16.8. 16.8 for some reason. And then all over 2. And that will equal x here. Which will equal... I know this is a weird way to do this, but whatever. So basically what we're saying is parentheses 6 to 8 minus 8 parentheses 16.8 parentheses divided by 2. Whoop, wait a minute. Almost made a critical mistake. Not divided by 2, divided by -2. -2. 33.2. Ah, that doesn't seem right either. But okay. Say negative or... Uh-oh. I know I said 33.2. Which really doesn't seem right, but... Is that a negative number? Let me think about that for a second. That'd have been a positive. It's 8 times 16, roughly, so that's way above 68. So it should have ended up being a negative, so negative times a negative. So it would be a positive. Or negative divided by negative, I should say. Okay. Well then. Something tells me this might work, but I think this is the wrong answer. Pretty sure this is the wrong answer. We'll plug it in though. So let me just write this right up here real quick. So x, y equals 33.2 16.8. Like, I'm sure actually that this would probably work in our equation if I did this right, but I don't think this is the correct answer. I think it wanted a whole number. I'm pretty sure it wants a whole number. Though I have to wonder, isn't it still the correct answer? Technically, I mean, it satisfies the equation, right? I'm sure it wants like natural numbers though. Negative. Okay, negative 2 parentheses 33.2 plus 8 parentheses 16.8. That's going to give us 68, sure enough. And then we're going to do 7 parentheses x, which is 32.2, and then minus 8 parentheses 16.8. And that should give us positive 98. We really did do something wrong, didn't we? That should have equaled negative 98. So we have a sign flipped somewhere again, I think. Unless did I do that wrong? No, I mean, if that was the case, then 68 would end up being negative. So we have something flipped again, for sure. Somewhere. And I get the strange feeling that it's actually right here. I don't think this is supposed to be over negative 2. I could be wrong. I don't know if that's supposed to be over negative 2, to be honest. I know that it says negative 2, but... Well, let's see here. If it was a positive 2, then would we even end up with the correct answer? I wonder. Well, let's backtrace a little bit. I think where I went wrong is somewhere right about here. I think that we're not supposed to divide by negative 2. Perhaps we're supposed to divide by positive 2. Why would that be the case if negative 2 is... Yeah, let me think about this. So negative 2 divided by negative 2 would be... Yeah, it would just be 0, right? Perhaps it's positive 2? It'd still end up being 0, right? Let's try positive 2. I wouldn't be able to tell you why it would be positive 2 that we're supposed to divide by, but let's try it, and then we'll figure that out. So 2 times negative 8 is negative 16, so that would change this sign right here to be negative. And then what we'd end up doing is we would end up with 7 times... Wait, hold on. I need my calculator. It'd be 7 times negative 8 to equal negative 56, and then we would actually be subtracting, or actually be summing, a negative number to it, which is negative 16. And that would be negative 72 is what that would end up being. So negative 72. So notice we have a negative here already. Oh, no, wait. That's fine. That's the way it's supposed to be. So 72 y equals negative 196. Then we're going to, once again, sum these two together, the opposites, to cancel them out. And then sum these for 76 to equal, what was that number again? I forgot already. Negative 196. Four 76. 672. Oh, damn it all. Yeah, 672. Okay. And then that would be, oh, wait a minute. Down here equal to negative 72y over negative 72. I'm pretty sure that I'm doing this wrong again because most definitely if I'm dividing by a negative to cancel that out, then I should also be dividing by a negative up here to cancel this out. So I'm pretty sure I'm doing this wrong. But let's just see what we get. Yeah, so see, we get an even crazier number. Interesting. So let's go back again. And figure this out. What on earth is happening? So we know we have to we have to divide that by a negative number. We know that. Maybe you can't actually... Maybe... Oh, Lord have mercy, this is far too... This should not be this way. Maybe you can't actually choose this equation to get x. Should without a doubt be the equation, though. Is it minus or plus? No, it's definitely minus. Okay. And that's minus 98, not positive 98. So negative times a negative is a positive. Positive times a negative is a negative. Positive times a positive is positive. Okay. I am convinced that we are not supposed to do it this way with the negative. Now, I don't know why it would be different. I'm trying to think of a reason, but I cannot think of a reason that it would be different. But I suppose it is. I have to assume it is anyway. So we're gonna scrap this here. Perhaps there's a trick to this that I don't know about. Let me think about this for a moment. I'm trying to think if there's a reason that we need to do this one versus this one. We need to solve for x using this equation rather than this equation. And I can't really come up with one, to be totally honest with you. But I assume that it probably has something to do with that negative number there. Perhaps we can't solve for x because of that, but that doesn't really make sense to me. I mean, you could solve for x even if it was a negative number. That shouldn't be a problem, but let's just do it the other way, just to see what happens, I guess. Why not? Right? So, in this case, x will equal, and once again, we can do this pretty easily in our heads at this point. So, we're going to be doing negative 98 plus 8. So, negative 98 plus 8y all over 7. Now this is going to make one nasty equation because 7 is not an even number, but it is what it is. So now we're going to go over here and we're going to substitute x. So negative 2 parentheses negative 98 plus 8y all over 7 parentheses minus 8y. No, sorry, plus 8y in this case. And then that's going to equal 68 in theory. So we do the same thing we did before. We're going to take 7, multiply it up there, so those cancel out. Then we're going to multiply it over here, and then we're going to multiply it over here. If this gives us a different answer, then I don't know what I did wrong. But yeah, so 56 should be what that is right there. So let's see here. So that should end up being negative 2 parentheses negative 98 plus 8y parentheses so a positive times a positive, of course, a positive. So plus, I believe I said 56y equals, what's 68 times 7? $476. No. Let me quickly check, actually. So 7 times 8. Just to double check, it is 56. Okay. 476. Okay. Let's not close that just yet. So now we need to do 2 to this, 2 to that. This is -2, so a negative times a negative is a positive. And that is 2 times 98, 196. So, damn it all, I don't know why that's the way that is. 196 plus, I assume. Actually, no, minus. It's actually going to be minus 16y plus 56. What the hell? 56y equals 476. Notice this time I'm doing the extra step. At this point, I don't even trust myself. So, yeah. So we're going to just combine these like terms and subtract this so they cancel. $280. That seems like a number that's going to round well. Perhaps. Or divide well, I don't know. So negative 16. Remember, negative 16 plus positive 56, or summed with positive 56 is, should be so minus 6 and then minus 1, 4. So 40y. Okay. 40y. It's going to be positive 40y, so 40y divided by 40. So that way y should equal should equal 7. So that's definitely a different answer. How I got a different answer, well, I don't know. I should not have gotten a different answer from that, but I did. I don't know if I did something wrong trying to use this equation, or maybe there's some kind of like logic that would tell me that I can't actually use this equation for some reason to get x. I don't know. Maybe I did it wrong. I don't know. But that's a positive integer. Or, I mean, that's a natural number right there. And that's what we're looking for. So, let's see if we can do that, use that to do this equation. So that should be, what is that? Oh, for frick's sake. Should be 7. Oh, Lord. 7. So, x. Wait, aren't I solving for x here? No, I'm solving for y. So that would be actually 98 plus 8, which is 7 all over 7. Well, this just got complicated fast. Hold a minute, let's do this a little differently. Let's quickly grab x with that equation. Damn it, why do I keep doing this? I need to give myself more room. Actually, wait. Let's actually do this. 98 plus 8 parentheses 7 over 7. That'll tell us what x is. So that's going to be -6, of course, why not? -6. So let's try that again. So 7 -6 minus 8 parentheses 7 should equal -98. Oh wait, I haven't actually calculated that yet. And then -2 -6 plus 8y. Oh shit. Plus 8 7 should equal the other thing. So let's test this out. -6 minus 8 7. So there's our 98. Okay, let's hope and pray. I mean, they're natural numbers, so I'm hopeful here. 8 7. Hey, 68. That's it. That's the one. That's definitely. Hey, we did it. Okay. So I'm unsure. It seems like I have a few people that weren't here when I did that, but I am unsure why, when I did this equation the other way around and tried to solve for x using this. So when I tried to solve for x using this equation, I got a non-natural number. No, sorry, I got that backwards. I circled the wrong equation. When I tried to solve for x using this equation, I ended up with a non-natural number after plugging it in over here. But for some reason, solving for x over here got me natural numbers, which is undoubtedly the answer because they ended up giving me the right answer. So I must have just did something wrong, or maybe there's some reason that I'm unaware of that I cannot use this to solve for x. I'm assuming because of that -2 for some reason. I don't know why that has anything to do with anything, but clearly it does. But yeah. Oh, Lord, it's been nearly 4 hours. Oh, my God. All just trying to figure out some math. We haven't even got past the algebra yet. I was so confident that I would be in quadratic equations today. But, like, here I am practicing system of equations. Oh, here's some functions. Wait. Oh, did I accidentally... No, these are four-step equations. These aren't quadratic equations, are they? Are these quadratic? Is this quadratic? This isn't quadratic. These are linear. What is rational? Rational is not quadratic. Oh, no, wait. Rational, quadratic. Ah, so that's quadratic. Okay, so I was in the linear thing the whole time anyway. Well, that's fine because clearly I discovered something I didn't know how to do, which is this system of equations thing. So I need to practice this, learn about it, understand it. I'm gonna do some research so I can do a little bit more teaching next stream rather than like learning. But still, we're still going to be learning things together regardless. I'm going to try not to get too far ahead of everybody, so that way this can end up being like kind of a linear series, if that makes sense. But I think I'm going to start wrapping up here. I think this is going to be the end of the stream for now. I think tomorrow, or not tomorrow, sorry, the next stream, which is probably going to be on the 6th, I'm going to have to rename the 6th stream. For personal reasons, I don't think Basil's going to be able to play Super Mario Bros. 3 that day. I'll ask her about it, but I don't think she's going to be able to. So I'm just going to rename that stream to another coding stream. And I apologize for not doing a whole lot of coding. I was originally actually planning, by the way, to do like at least some CSS at the beginning of the stream, kind of work on my chat and everything, but then I didn't have time with all the weird stuff that was happening on my system to actually go and get my config files off of my ally. So I apologize for that. But yeah. Yeah, it was mostly math, but I mean, at the end of the day, right? And this might be just me coping a little bit, I suppose, but at the end of the day, an equation like this is going to help us. Learning how to solve this type of thing, understanding the solution to it, is going to help us create solutions in code. I promise you that. Even if it's not necessarily always mathematical, this helps improve our overall problem solving. Trust me. You may not think it. A lot of people don't believe me when I say this, but even if you don't use math, or even if you don't write down and actually use these types of equations every day, I promise you it has an overall positive effect to know how to do them on your problem solving skills. And that's the name of the game in coding, is problem solving skills. So yeah. But yep, that's going to be it for today. I appreciate whoever was sticking around and watching all day, and I apologize for the 3 people that seems to have joined pretty much right at the end here. I probably should have been more vocal about it. I didn't really make any post in any channels or anything. I probably should have done that. But hey, there's always the VOD if you find this kind of thing interesting. So check it out if you want. And yeah, bye-bye.